All right, guys. Oh my goodness, it's actually 7. I looked away from my clock for one moment, and all of a sudden, because I was ready to go and get things started, and I look back, and all of a sudden I see that we are 2 minutes after where I started, or should have talked from. But anywho, let's get started. Let's get into this. Lunar, I'm super sorry to hear that that happened. Like, that really does suck. Hopefully something can be done about that. Yeah. Also, I need to unmute my throwing sound effects. There we go. The moment I do that, you guys just throw things. Hey, TZ, welcome. Good. It's good to see ya, buddy. And the Willow Tree Necromancy is here in my chat. The person who plays Animal Crossing and is really just, those are fun streams to watch, is the Animal Crossing ones. And they always be the ones that I happen to just hop into. Wow, who's this dorky guest and even dorkier host? Wow. Tay's really off to a smash and start. I told you I was gonna come back. Oh, that's good. Thanks, Mortal. Appreciate that. Well, guys, it's a good day. It's a fun day. I'm a church boy. I went to church, and then left, and then came here and set up stuff and got things ready. And so now I get to talk with a really cool and really fun person. But yeah, let's talk about yesterday's show, and let's talk about the future, our next show for the VOD. So yesterday we had Cody of TVS, Things VTubers Say, one of the co-hosts in the VTuber group, Things VTubers Say, which is False ID's channel, or group. So we got to have, talk with him, and it was super fun and super cool. Like, he gave us a lot of really interesting information about being a part of this group and, how they try and bring information to the forefront of, what they do. And oftentimes, sometimes it can feel like it's misinterpreted or misunderstood as to, the goals and the aims of what they do are. So TVS isn't the place that's TVA, my good friend. That's the Time Variance Authority, I believe. So yeah, I'm a little bit of a lower energy right now, but who knows? That might change as the show goes on. So don't worry about that, guys. Also, hey Tay, can we plug the throne? Because I'm doing that a lot more these days. Because I've actually updated it to make it more serious. So, oh, pardon me. Excuse me. Or let's see. I can plug that bad boy. There we be. So, I actually created updated a lot of new stuff on the throne. Like, there's gonna be more stuff, don't get me wrong. But a lot of these things, I was recommended a dog collar. I don't have a dog. Oh, on my phone, I have like a 10-second delay. I see. But there's a dog collar there. Somebody recommended to me. So fun fact, you guys can recommend me items. I didn't realize that was a thing, and that's really funny. You have a lot of faith. Oh, Kiara. So yeah, you guys can apparently recommend me things, but as it's, could I join you for Wednesday? Yeah, we can talk about that after the stream today. So yeah, the throne is now updated, and with that, there are a couple things that I realized, some nice long-term goals to see what we can do. Like, for instance, ultimately getting a full VR kit so I can transition to full 3D content and whatnot, and then some computer stuff to make my computer better for doing video stuff and rendering things. So my hope is that in the future I can use this technology to make streams even better. So these are just long-term goals, but it's something I'm trying to be better at is plugging the throne. But yeah, enough with that. Our next episode of the VOD is going to be this Friday night, at March 29th at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time with Brawl Bunny. So that'll be a fun show. I'm looking forward to that. But enough with the past and the future, because we need to talk about the present. So guys, our guest today is a very interesting guest. And I say interesting because their story is certainly a one to hear. It's one that when I had the opportunity to talk about, it was at times hard to listen to, in the aspect of, man, those are some tough times, and it's hard. But seeing how well they bounced back from it is what makes it even better. Because since then, and I won't speak for them and their story, but in the interactions that I've had, and seeing where they were before and where they are now, clearly there is a better instance of better situational things. So Val wants a 5090 XTX Ti Super for big boy video production. Yes, I want. Give me graphics cards that don't exist. Wow, I'm up to a 40-second delay. This is wild. Yo, is that the Amy plays things? Lately, my bitrate when it's come to streaming has just been utter garbage, and I don't know why. You're a 40-second delay, Tathan. Yo, my mods are here. That's wild. The one, the only Valentine. Oh, that's me. So yeah. So guys, you know what time it is? It's time for us to introduce our guest, who's been patiently waiting, because I have a degree in yapping, and I can't stop, and she'll probably get on me for that. So, today we will be welcoming the girl next door, who's as chaotic as they come. They are a gotcha addict, as they like to say, and an overall random VTuber. When she's not pulling for new characters or rolling nat ones at Baldur's Gate, she's casting for Valorant and spending time with her followers and friends. Please, let's give a Ni-Hao to Kiara Fordel. Where is it? Where's my browser source? Our guests have to spawn in from the non-corporeal realm.
I'm calling forth my powers. It's fine. Hi, Amy, Popsis, Mortal. Hi. How are you guys today? I hope you guys are doing well.
My Ni-Hao probably could have been better.
Ni-Hao, ni怎么样啊? Okay ma?
Yes. That. So, how are you doing today? Because currently, I was gonna say.
Right, it is 4:15 a.m. Thanks for yapping so long. I
I'm
nearly fell asleep, Val.
God King Aslan. Wait, Aslan from the Chronicles of Narnia?
He's a friend.
The Kiara Fordel. Heck yeah. We're already in the fan question part of this entire thing. So before we get to those, because clearly we have questions that are burning, why don't we get into the first and most important question? That way, we can answer those questions. And that is, Kiara.
Sure.
Who are you, and what is your story?
What kind of a random question is that?
The question I asked every show.
Okay. I'm trying to take it seriously. Okay, I'm trying my best. Okay. Okay. Who am I? My name is Kiara Fordel. I'm a Swan VTuber. And what is my story? Are you asking for my lore video or my story in general?
Well, why not both? I mean, you didn't ask my story, Val. You didn't. I did ask you, and you said I don't have one, and quote, I am just a little guy. I know. But yeah. Yo, what's going on, Gero? You sound like a robot. Wait, what do you? Shouldn't be. We're going based on my browser source stuff instead of Discord. If not,
Told ya.
that presents.
Wait,
that's a new troubleshooting thing that I have to figure out. But that.
Wait, I sound like a robot?
Interesting.
Wait, what is going on?
So sometimes my guests are prone to sounding like robots because that bitrate be crispy.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, why don't you talk about both?
Okay, sure. Well, I guess I'll talk about my story first. My like streaming story first, and then we'll go into like my lore. So basically, my streaming story is that I kind of did start out as a VTuber, not as a VTuber. I started out as a joke. It was literally a joke. I think I started out streaming just to get back at a guy, like my ex-boyfriend, who like I was a manager for a little bit of time. And then this guy, when we broke up, he literally said, "I'm willing to bet you that you can't be as successful as I am." And I said, "Well, bet." And so we started streaming, and that's how kind of like we started there. And then eventually, once we grew to 100 followers, I sat down with my mods. I said, "Well, where do we go from here?" And then one of my mods say, "Well, you don't want to do a face cam stream. Why not? Why don't you do a VTuber?" And then I'm like, "Dude, do you know how expensive a VTuber is?" And then she said, "Okay, it's okay. We'll figure this out." And then, well, the long story short is that we got a PNG for about 6 months while I was sorting out financial situations to get my VTuber avatar. And one of my mods is actually a really talented artist. She was the one that created this VTuber for me. And another one of my mods is actually an amazing rigger. So she rigged this model. So that's kind of how I ended up there. And around the first year anniversary, $20 in a way, can Nathan, that's not true at all, and you know that's not true. So yeah.
That my little guy, my little cookie-eyed guy, I got for $25.
Yeah.
And I freaking love him.
I will be honest, if you sell my model out there, I think it's probably gonna be like.
Oh no, I'm not saying.
Not cheap. Not cheap. But yeah. So yeah. So around like now we're around the year and a half, and I am not stopping anytime soon. We're getting ready for a second year anniversary already. And that's gonna be big. I can't tell you what it's gonna be just yet.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be quite big.
Now, transitioning.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Tayson is mentioning that the robotics are way more frequent and happening for longer this stream.
I'm fixing it. Look. All I gotta say is that lately, just audio issues have been running aplenty on stream, and I have yet to figure out and understand. Like, I get it. I'm the audio guy. But it just doesn't want to work.
Maybe swap over to just output instead. Like just get an overall output.
So it's a lot more complicated than just that. I've tried to figure it out. It comes down to a network issue. Because hearing that it's now happening on the browser source, that means that it's no longer a Discord dependent problem. This is a network issue. Yeah. So.
No, just did a quick network check.
So that's not on you. That sounds like a. So that's not on you. That's on me. That's on my end. So I swapped the audio over to the Discord audio instead.
Okay, I hope that's better then.
The robotic audio will probably come and go like once or twice during the stream. Again. Okay. At this point, my wonderful chat is unfortunately used to it. Also, there's no punch feature. You have to throw the Dr. Pepper.
Okay, fair enough.
I always assumed it was due to college internet since I've never heard it through anyone else's Discord. Yeah. College Wi-Fi.
True.
College Wi-Fi, it's like you're at a McDonald's.
Fair, very, very fair, actually.
So, starting out as that PNG and actually, being able to go into this, I imagine it's quite the jump. Bro, you use Wi-Fi? I use my... Well, actually, I have to use Wi-Fi in order to connect to this model, to connect to my model. I have one... Alright, we're not talking about this. I have an Ethernet.
Anyways, moving on. Happy Ronin, Theo.
Yo, it's Rin. So, but yeah, just that jump. And so you said we're expecting to see kind of a 2.0, kind of a new stuff coming out soon. You said, but you can't talk about a whole lot of that, right?
Yep. I can't talk about too much of that just yet.
But is there anything that you can talk about, like new recently, like any developments in you as a streamer and just stuff like that?
Well, I mean, this is the first time that chat is actually seeing me come back from a week-long break, so I cannot be more excited. But also,
excited at 4 in the morning.
So that cover, which I spoke to chat about back in January, that I predicted was going to come out probably in August or September. You might see it earlier than expected. That's all I can tell you.
Well, we will be tentatively waiting for that. In the meantime, please post about that in the VOD in the server and where.
We'll do.
We want to hear happy stuff and wonderful stuff like that. So something else you were talking about, especially in your bio, is you were talking about broadcasting and or more specifically just because broadcasting is a very broad term. So let's condense that into specifically casting. So like sports casting, and that's that's something that popped up on your radar very recently, or not very recently, but is popping up more recently. So what's going on with that?
Oh, okay. So I say that attributed to the fact that I got really lucky. So behind the scenes, actually around last year, I started becoming a Valorant caster because I kind of thought about like, oh yeah, let me just go into that real quick. And I feel like I needed a way to make some extra money on the sidelines. And this year, actually, that kind of really popped off. So last year, we casted for our Campus Legends, which was a relatively small tournament, almost like 2 to 3 people were watching. This year, I got a chance to cast for something called the Kohai Cup. That was last Sunday, and I recently got a chance to cast for season 1 and 2, and that one was quite bigger, so we had about 20 to 50 people watching at any given time. So that was really big. And then recently, just 4 hours ago, I got an email which is just gonna change my entire streaming schedule this week. I'm getting a chance to be one of the community casters for Valorant Game Changers Southeast Asia, which means that you guys are gonna get a chance to see my stream casted like SEA watched on my stream this Tuesday to Friday, and yeah, I'm gonna be basically giving you guys the insights, the casting from all that. So I'm looking forward to that so much.
Really hopping off into that.
Really?
Well, I mean, I can understand. That's a very important, a very neat thing. Because I'm looking up right now, because I play Valorant casually. I don't know how many hours I have in it because since it's on the Blizzard or their thing. I don't know how to check how much time I've put into Valorant, but so I'm not as I don't know as much about the whole esports side of it, and so how big is this event?
Huge, actually. It's Southeast Asia, so it's Riot. Yes, it's basically if you actually search up the event.
Riot. Did I say Blizzard? That's embarrassing.
One of the just to get you guys, let me just search it up.
So let's see. Okay,
so Valorant Game Changers is actually 2 stages. It's a USD $20,000 prize money for whoever makes that, and it's quite it's all of Southeast Asia. So you're gonna get a chance to see participants from all of Southeast Asia, like Malaysia, Indonesia, India, and stuff like that, all participate. You're gonna see quite a bit of teams. I will be frankly honest with you, I do not know who the teams are just yet, but I'm looking forward to seeing them.
If it's a constellation, neither do I.
But yes, it is quite a big tournament. It's not as big as Valorant Masters, which is actually currently ongoing, but it's quite big.
Really? So for somebody who doesn't watch esports, what would be the Valorant Masters be equivalent to? Like an NBA
Valorant
championship
Masters
or like the Super Bowl?
Is a global thing.
So
I wouldn't say world championships, but I do believe that besides Game Changer Masters, there's also I think there's one more over the course of the year, but there's a bunch of different ones that will culminate in a grand final. Right now, I do believe we're watching a couple Sentinels versus Gen G, so that's actually kind of cool. These guys are titans in in their field, so this is a global event.
And so what it sounds like is the Masters is kind of like the Super Bowl of Valorant. Is that what that's?
Something I don't know what Super Bowl is. Val.
You know
that's the problem.
The Super Bowl? That the World Cup. The World Cup.
I think close enough. Close enough. Close enough.
I think it's like Evo, massive tourney, but not Worlds. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
I can, because I can understand Champions, because it's kind of like the Siege Invitational, where it just happens, or the Yu-Gi-Oh Masters tournament, the Yu-Gi-Oh World Tournament, where it just happens in various locations, but it's all affiliated under the same thing. And the winners of each location will then be in a bracket for like a final event.
Yeah, something like that, I would say.
Stage 2 is going to be in Shanghai.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to every single piece of it. Yeah.
Interesting.
But I have stage 1, so they might bring me back for stage 2 if I do well. We'll see how it goes. But we're gonna see quite a few teams. Quite a number of them coming from. We're not doing grassroots here, so when I casted the Kauai Cup, it was grassroots, which is basically community-based. You see Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore, but also, like, these kinds of guys, they're not pro just yet, but they will be. These guys that we're about to see right now is very pre-pro-already. They're almost there. Yeah, it's the second tier. It's the tournament for the second tier teams before the top level. So, like, Bleed Esports, for those of you who know Bleed Esports, they were in this tournament last year, I do believe. I think they were in this tournament last year, and they kind of won it in order to get into Champions this year.
My knowledge of
I'm not 100%.
My knowledge of esports comes from that of, I want to say, like probably the most famous ones being League, Overwatch, and CS:GO.
Okay.
Or Siege. Not CS:GO, because I don't watch any CS:GO stuff, but Siege. So League, Overwatch, and the Siege Invitational. Like, those are the only, besides Evo, and Evo is the big fighting tournament that happens in Vegas. Go Vegas! So, but that begs the question: is how did you get into something like this? Because people don't wake up one day and say, you know what, I want to be a sportscaster.
That's exactly what happened.
Sorry, the cutoff of the audio was because I just hear you go, ah!
Okay, that's exactly what happened, actually. The funniest thing that you will learn is that that's exactly what happened.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not exactly, but kind of exactly. So I think my history began because I actually started, once I got into streaming, I got into playing Valorant a fair bit, and we kind of went into the concept of how do I make a bit more money out of this. I'm truly sorry, but it is true, because casters do make a fair bit of money.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like, well, I do play Valorant. I don't have faith that I will ever go into an esports team because I'm terrible in Valorant as a general factor.
Yeah.
And so we came into the concept of, I spoke to, I think, a couple of friends at the time, and one of the friends that I spoke to is quite a big name in Valorant casting. His name is Viper, and we actually spoke a bit about how casting works. And initially he was supposed to actually coach my friend, but I kind of really wanted to go into casting because I was a student of the game. Even back when I was doing Valorant, I was still, even though I was not making it anywhere, like I was not making it high tier, I was still doing very well, like in terms of understanding the game, in terms of understanding strategies. I was a student of the game, but I could not shoot for whatever it was worth. So at the end of the day, it was kind of that feeling of, well, what can I do? I have a lot of knowledge, but where can I put that knowledge? And I think that one of my friends was saying, hey, have you ever tried casting? And I was saying, I'd love to try. And from there, it kind of went there. And it was kind of through connections. So from Campus Legends, actually one of the people who came into Campus Legends, they found out that I actually did casting, and then this year when the Kowai Cup actually premiered and they needed a caster, they messaged me and they said, oh, can you cast for the Kowai Cup? And I said, well, downright, I'm down. And from that point on, you kind of like, it's a case of getting one opportunity and then rolling on it and then getting the connections, because you have to brace yourself. A caster is really not the easiest thing in the world. If you know how it's like, like a caster is very complicated.
Oh yeah, I know that from experience. In terms of streaming, the only what I've done on stream is with my head mod Tay, where we you settle down there, Kilo, you little gat. Ooh, get head pats. Where is that? Where's my emote? There it is. There you go. But hosting a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament was a very fun experience. Thank you, Aslan. I appreciate that. Hosting a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament was very interesting, and in the aspect of casting in that regard, because I've done sports casting for like physical sports, basketball, football, volleyball, because I've done that in person, and it's an experience where I'm like, oh man, that's super fun. It's super cool. I really like that. And then when I go into something that's not a physical sport, I'm like, what the? How do people like? I have nothing but respect for fighting game casters. That's nuts to me. How people are able to cast that. You know what I mean? Like Tekken or Street Fighters or King of Fighters.
Actually, I've been trying to enter Tekken. There has been an opportunity coming up very soon. Not confirmed yet, but yes.
I have never played Tekken.
Neither have I. Don't worry about it.
So if you're gonna go into the Tekken, try and do that, are you gonna try and pick up Tekken and learn a little bit more about that? In a casual environment.
Of course.
So how much would you say, how much practice and how much experience do you try and get in to grasp the game a little more? Because I imagine when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh, in doing that, when I see these new decks that come out, I want to learn how to play them so I can better understand and speak on them more effectively. And the same thing can go for something like Valorant, where I imagine new strats and new things pop up. It's like you kind of have to throw yourself in there and see what the heck this is. If for a few moments it's just like, oh, that's how it is. Now I can adequately say, I'm like, all right, this is how you do it. You know what I mean?
I quote Tayton here when you say that. True enough, you have to be a student of the game. You don't actually have to, you have to know how to play the game. You have to know how the mechanics work. Each Valorant agent that comes out, you kind of need to know where they come from and how the strategy can work around. But to be honest with you, a lot of this is very watching the teams themselves. So I know enough about, like, for example, during Valorant, I know how certain agent skills work. I know roughly how they work. But here's the thing, because a lot of casters are not like professional esports players themselves, or they've never been a part of an esports team, because the field is relatively new. There's no way to have veterans of the game in a game that only recently existed in the last 10 years. There's no way. There's just really no way. So in that case, then the caster is usually a person who knows the game well enough. Yes, and agreeing with Aslan here, there's always a difference between an analyst and a caster. There's two types of casters. So there is a play-by-play caster, which is what I am, and there is an analyst caster who specializes in understanding the team tactics. For me personally, when I cast what's on screen. So I cast what I see and what I know that seems to be on screen. Now, for example, this person planted this thing, or who won the last round. Oh, look at the buys. They're not going well right now. Whereas I would usually have an analyst caster right next to me who is basically going to be there saying like, oh, look at that strategy behind this. So there is a case of, I do have to know the game. I do have to understand the game, and I have to keep up to date with like all the new maps and all the new things. But I don't exactly have to know how to play the game fully. Like, I don't have to know every single combination. I'm not a coach. I'm not an analyst. I'm just a caster.
It's actually something my buddies. Oh no, my thing fell over. It's actually something my. Oh hey, Snowy, what's going on?
Hi, Snowy.
Heck, one of our previous guests. I encourage you guys to go follow and support them. Yeah, you were the caster and I was the analyst. That's exactly it. I was the caster and you were the analyst. You know, because I'm following the play-by-plays and doing that. TW Jet. Thank you.
Jet.
What's going on, Jet?
I have this for you. Sorry, I have this for you. If you play Valor, watch this. If you know where that comes from, I will give you a cookie.
I do not.
I'm talking to Jet.
I know you are. When I play Valorant, I'm just like, yes, fun game. Oh, hello, Jet. But yeah, what was I saying? Already off to a great start throwing Dr. Peppers. It's the Jet Valorant. But yeah, one of my buddies is recently getting into, it was just getting really into Rainbow Six Siege, and something he wants to do a little more is do casting. But as for now, he's actually going to be a coach for his small team, and they're entering, you know, regional and state tournaments, and they're hoping to move their way up so they can at one point get to the Siege Invitational. And like, that's a game I think I could confidently analyze and talk about, but it's one of those things where I haven't played the game as much as I wanted to in the past few years. And so it's like, if we're talking like 2021 Siege, you know, I could talk about that all day and, you know, be very good. And nowadays, just that's one of the things that I imagine you keep up with the Valorant scene so much with.
Okay, I'll be honest with you. So this is something that only the people who watch the Kawaii couple know this. Me and Eliminate, my co-caster last week, was hilariously outdated. So there's a new map in Valorant called Sunset that apparently is very big for tournaments right now that we didn't know about. And it was literally the first day of casting. Nothing but sunset, and the two of us behind the scenes, we were just saying, why? We don't know anything about this map. We don't know how to map this map. We've never played in this map. We haven't seen this map. We don't know anything about this map. And then by the end of literally like the end of the day of us casting, by the time the last team actually got to sunset, we were like, oh yeah, sunset. Okay, let's go. We already know this map. Like, this is the case of we didn't actually play it, but we analyzed. We actually knew what we were talking about just because we analyzed and we talked about it for the first time 3 to 4 times.
Yeah. It just builds on itself.
It just builds on it.
And thankfully, I find that even with a lot of competitive things, as long as you immerse yourself in that competitive environment, you don't necessarily have to play in it, but as long as you observe it, you do pick up on things and you do understand where things are coming from. And, you know, just the more you do it, the more you do it, it just builds, so to speak.
Yeah. That's correct.
Now, I imagine I know the answer to this, but what is your ultimate goal with, you know, breaking more into this casting scene? Because I think you're one of the first people really to talk about this as an interest on this show.
Okay, so as a VTuber in this case, I would really love to cast Valorant more on my end, but also because I cast IRL, I would love to be able to go to like Masters and Champions and be able to cast there.
Yeah. And from that is just, how long do you think it'll take you to get there, and how much work do you think it'll be?
I will never give you an answer to how long it takes, because I will tell you as long as it takes. It will take a long time, but it's as long as it'll take.
Yeah.
I could be 40 years old and casting, and I would be okay. I'm not 40 yet, just to let you know, chat.
It's okay, neither am I.
But so that's the thing, but it's also how much work do I think. I think it's less of the amount of work. Yes, I have to keep improving, and I have to keep making sure that I cast at the highest level that I can physically cast at any given time, and I have to keep learning and growing about the game. But I also think that with things such as casting, you need to be a bit more like, you need to make sure that you have the connections necessary to push yourself there. So Like, you can say, oh yeah, I'm a great caster, I'm the best caster in the world, but yeah, that's gonna mean jack shit when you actually have this situation where if you don't have the connections and you can't make the connections necessary to bring you up to that level.
Yeah. Here's another question I kind of just thought of that I think would be interesting is when it comes to casting in its very nature, whether this is esports or this is physical real sports or IRL sports, keeping concise information, clear, concise information is a necessity, because when time is a fleeting thing that in an instant something can change at the snap of a wrist, you know, how are you making sure to, in your mind, condense and be concise with so much information in such a short amount of time?
I'm gonna be very frankly honest. There have been times when even professional casters will just be like, oh, is that player using that thing? Oh yeah, he is. It really is not so much about keeping concise as a lot of casters for us. We actually have this checklist in our brain that every single at the beginning of every Valorant tournament, every round, you literally have to say, okay, how are they doing? What guns are they buying? Who has ultimates? Who is picking up skills? Who has the better guns? What kind of a round is this? Is it a buy round or is it like a thrifty round? You gotta kind of have a guess, and which team is kind of faltering a bit. That's kind of my checklist. And then throughout the middle of the round, you're just announcing, like, especially for for me, a play-by-play caster, you're just announcing what's on screen. So like, who is most likely to take the kill. You're looking at the mini-map consistently, and then you're saying, okay, well, this might go into an engagement. And then at the end of the round, you kind of summarize out the round for everybody. So it's kind of having a mental checklist, and that kind of comes with experience.
Yeah.
That kind of comes with a bit of experience, because I remember doing my first time casting, I did not have this checklist in my head. I was just randomly doing it as I saw fit. But as time goes by and I got more experience casting, I just naturally just had this checklist, and that comes into play as well.
What it also kind of sounds like is, when it comes to casting, it tends to just be people overthink about how it works, and in reality it's just having the knowledge but also the ability to just be observant. And so just, you know,
No, you should overthink.
You should overthink.
No, I'm saying this in all honesty because a lot of casters do overthink, because we're analyzing 20 things at one time, and then we're entertaining. Now, I think this is the best thing that one of my employers have actually given me. They say, you're a caster, your job is to entertain. Your job, if we wanted somebody to just announce what's on screen, we could have just gotten anybody. But your job is to bring up the hype, bring out when things go, when the people are calling out the shots, and making sure that the people are cheering for their favorite teams. So that's kind of your job, and if you don't do that job, you're failing as a caster.
Ooh.
And that's the biggest advice that I personally have gotten. I personally just keep entertaining. Like, if you gotta crack jokes, if you gotta make fun of some of the players, if you gotta make fun of some of the plays during the thing, just do it. It's fine. That's the whole point of this.
Well, not only that, it's also making sure you're kind of just filling the space. Because I remember whenever I would do I'd have to cast a basketball game, you know, timeouts were always kind of a little bit of the worst times, in terms of some of the people I had to be with, not because I didn't like them, but because it was moments where they just are like, what do I say now? I don't know what to say. It's like, this is the perfect time to talk. You know, time for you to analyze, time for you to question back to certain plays, time for you to make guesses and stuff like that. And at that point, we're just filling the space. We don't want silence, because I don't think I've, in all my life, seeing sporting events where there was silence and no casters speaking, it felt weird, felt awkward.
See, that's the point of having a caster.
Exactly.
That's why you have a caster. Oh dear.
I didn't hear it. Oh, I have it muted. Hold on. Let me refund you that. You can do that again. Sorry, I had that muted for Cody. Oh, where'd all these go?
Did Cody specifically request
No,
like
I did.
okay.
I chose to do that because yesterday's show was just like, it felt very much more serious, and I had like a much more serious guest, and I just, you know what I mean? It's like if I have Iron Mouse on my show, or I have somebody like Lucius Merriweather on my show, and all of, we're talking about something, and all of a sudden you just hear on a serious topic. That was my biggest worry.
Okay, so we're saying that it's not worth it for me, so I'm not serious enough for you. Is that what we're saying? Is that what we're saying?
No. Wait.
Chat, say fail in chat, please. Fail.
Hey, look, a metal pipe. What? Ah!
F in chat for Val, please. Thank you.
Well, just know, anytime things are thrown at me, I can't hear what my guest says.
Yes, please. Okay.
Hey guys, look, a metal pipe. Beautiful. One of these days, I need to talk to Vega, because when I get a metal pipe, I want an actual pipe to fall on my head, and I just like completely die. And then I just get back up.
Okay, sure.
There. So, as we're getting to the end of this topic, is there anything that, for those that may want to get into sportscasting? Also, thank you for the bits, Finch. I appreciate that. For those that may want to get into sportscasting, what advice do you have to kind of get that interest more sparked, and just how you can practice and get good at it?
I'm gonna give you the same advice that my mentors gave me at the period of time when I was asking them for advice. It's basically that, whatever sport that you want to do, make sure that you learn everything you can about the sport. Casters are students of the game beforehand, and then because the opportunity will come when you least expect it, and then when it actually comes, you just gotta take advantage of it. And just try your best. Honestly, if you wanna learn how to cast from the best, look for the like, for example, at Valorant right now, they're going live. So I'm actually having I'm on this show now, but prior to this, I was actually like casting alongside the Valorant Masters casters, so that I see if whatever I say is matching up to them, and whatever I say is like getting up to their speed. So like, if I comment on a thing, are they saying the same thing, or is this something that I observed, or did they observe something that I didn't realize? So that's like, just keep practicing, like there's no person that you can practice alongside when it comes to casting. But for me also, like, whenever some of my friends are sometimes like having fun playing Valorant, I just say, hey, can I cast? And then they're like, yeah, sure, and I'll just start casting about their gameplay. And it's a good experience, it's good practice, so that will kind of tie you over until you get the opportunity to cast.
Nice. I think that's very solid advice. Not to mention, with a lot of the things that we're seeing that are becoming more and more competitive, I feel like we're just going to need more and more people for that. Yeah, Well, we're getting close to that 1 hour mark. Don't worry, guys. We're not bringing out the chart. I'm not bringing out the chart.
What's the chart?
Oh.
What's the chart?
You don't know the chart. Guys.
I've never seen the chart.
Why is that mode so robotic?
Say no. Bring it out. Bring it out.
I'm actually a little scared to bring it out.
Come on, Valentine. It's time to bring it out.
All right. So, this is a chart. Okay, that my head mod made and I refined. And I thought it'd be as a little kind of palate cleanser, a little bit of a, we kind of use this as a transition to get into our next topic after we talk about this. This is a chart used to categorize foods. Now, it doesn't say that if this is what it is, this is the the food is this singular thing. It's kind of like a bin. You just pull the drawer, put it in there, and then you close it. That's what it is. So, after much debate and scrupulous, like, things, we have settled on this chart, which you can classify any food into one of these 4 groups. So give me any food that you like. And if you give me traditional Southeast Asian cuisine that I have no idea about, I'm gonna be a little sad. Or we
I was gonna do exactly that.
I knew it. The music gets distorted. All right, so
I am seriously gonna do it because I'm believing that you cannot categorize this.
all right, fine. As long as I can look it up.
It's called takoytiao.
All right, how do I spell that?
I'm gonna type it in the chat.
Okay.
I'm gonna.
All right, so let's see this. Oh, I can easily categorize this. That's shrimp?
Really?
Heck yeah, love shrimp. I can easily categorize this.
Really? Really?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, I can. Let me throw that up on screen.
How are you gonna categorize this?
With my mind.
Yeah, sure. I don't
yeah,
see any
sure.
Of
So.
Curries which will match whatever you have.
So these fried noodles with vegetables and shrimp?
In theory, yes.
So this is what it is.
Dude, stream has a delay of 10 seconds. I need a bit of time.
So that's what this is. So what this is.
Yes, that is what takoytiao is.
So let's start from the top. Is it going to be eaten? Yes. Is it state of matter, solid or liquid? This is a solid. Is it?
In theory, solid.
What do you mean in theory? That is a solid right there.
I mean, it's a solid. Yeah, sure.
Is it a single mass or multiple parts?
I would say it's probably multiple parts.
Is it a layered dish, meaning that there are clear defined?
No.
So then this is a salad.
It's not a salad.
So this is a salad.
Salad.
This is a salad. They hated.
This is not a salad.
They hated me for I spoke the truth.
No. It's really not a salad. I can promise you it's not a fucking salad.
This dish doesn't exist in reality. Malaysians have only theorized its existence.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. No, my gosh, chat. No. It's not a salad.
Also, Finch, on a side note, Finch, refresh your chat because there's a new gift there since you are now the top biddy donator. You have a new emote, and it's this. You have unlocked.
Do it. Chat. Those of you who are Asian right now, next he's gonna actually tell me boba milk tea is like some sort of soup or something.
That is soup.
It's
Oh my goodness. Please.
Oh my god.
Don't. Take it easy. It's just a drawing.
Oh my gosh. Aslan, shall we go for McDonald's after this? I'm starving. Boba is 100%. It's not a soup. It's a drink. You don't even have a drink there.
But it's in the same category as a soup.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
We said that you guys said that she could handle the chart.
No, I can handle the chart, but that chart is clearly 100% wrong.
This version of the chart has yet to be wrong. Thank you, Robe.
No.
I'm pinning this. I'm pinning that.
No.
That is pinned.
No. I refuse to acknowledge that takoytiao is a fucking salad.
It's a salad because there's made up of multiple parts that are not layered.
God. This is like, you know, when people say like Kaya shouldn't be a 5-star because he should be a 4-star, I beg to differ. He should be a 5-star.
What was that?
Like,
I couldn't hear because I was getting pegged with things.
This is like when again people say Kaya should be like a 4-star, and I yeah, samba tempoyak. Oh yeah, let's do that. Let's do that.
Is that?
Let's do that.
What is that?
Tempoyak.
What
Samba
is?
tempoyak.
What is that? It looks like mushy mac and cheese.
Yeah. Let's
Where?
do tempoyak.
Ah!
Yeah, let's categorize that. Let's categorize that.
First, I have to.
Categorize that.
First, I have to figure out what the heck this is.
I will tell you
Let's see.
that.
Where's my Google Translate?
Yeah.
It's made from the filling of durian fruit. The contents of this durian are separated from the seeds and added with a little salt and kept fermented at room temperature for 3 to 5 days. Tempoyak, is that what you said?
Yeah, it's samba tempoyak.
Is usually not eaten on its own, but often made with sambal or included in dishes such as patin fish, stew, or that word. It's very famous in the states of. I'm not going to try and butcher the beautiful Malaysian language.
Okay. But yes, shall we categorize that?
It looks like oatmeal.
It's not oatmeal.
I know it's not oatmeal. I know it's not
Butcher it.
oatmeal.
Yes, please, butcher it. I give you permission.
I'm not butchering it. I don't want to look like an idiot.
Butcher it, please.
You cannot force me to do this.
Chat, make him do it.
That's not how that works.
Chat, make him do it. Chat, make him say it. Make him say it.
I'm not saying it. Nothing they can
Chat.
nothing they can do can make me say it.
Really? Okay. Anyways,
It's probably
when
my.
we not look like idiots, but
Actually, your pronunciation has been very good so far. How dare you butter me
actually
up?
it's been good. So it's actually good.
How dare you butter me up?
No.
Setting me up to fail.
No, say it. Just say it. Just say it. Just say it.
Say what?
Just say it. Just say it. Just say it. Just butcher the language.
Well, now I have to translate the page again. But while I translate the page, this is what it is, guys. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's samba tempoyak.
Use the text to speech.
Use the text to speech. Yeah, it's basically a durian fruit kind of mixture with sambal and also. So chart it. Yes, I would want to just chart it. It's actually pretty delicious.
So let's see.
I don't deny.
In Malaysia, tempoyak is also recorded in the Hikayat.
Okay, Hikayat is correct.
Hikayat
Yeah,
Abdullah.
That's exactly how it's.
Hikayat Abdullah.
Okay.
As a daily food for the people of. That's a double G. I don't trust the double G. The Welsh have double letters, and I don't like that.
Do you wanna send it? Do you wanna send it to me so I can try to pronounce it for you?
Yes, please.
Please send it. Just send it.
Yeah,
chat.
yes, ma'am.
Terengganu.
Terengganu. Okay.
That's a state in Malaysia.
Interesting.
If you had said Terengganu, I would have also accepted that. That would be fine as well.
Terengganu.
Terengganu.
Terengganu. So it just reminds me of the. It reminds me of the Welsh language. So that right there, that's a double L in Welsh.
Yeah.
How do you think that is sound? How do you think that sounds in Welsh?
I don't know. I'm not gonna try it.
So that is. It makes a sound. It sounds like I just.
Okay, chat. I'm gonna bring this up right now. Chat. I have a tongue twister for Val at the end of this stream. You guys are gonna want to stay until the end of the stream because I'm actually gonna see. I have the Cantonese tongue twister
A Cantonese.
for Val that I'm gonna send it to him
no.
and see if he can pronounce it.
So.
But we're gonna wait till the end of the stream.
So that right there. That right there is a sort of a Welsh word.
So what? Yeah?
Yeah. So why don't you pronounce that?
Can you pronounce it again?
So that it is Llergib.
Llergib.
Exactly. That's what it. And so the Welsh are very prominent with the sound. And so one of the most famous Welsh words that just stands out is that one.
Dude, I can't pronounce that. Even the Welsh don't speak Welsh anymore. 100%.
So that is Llanfair, Pwsgwyn, Gygu, Geru, Thundra Bleu. Wait, no, that is so Llanfair. It's I used to know this. So Llanfair, Pwgwyn. So Pwgwyn Gich. Yeah, so you gotta get that guttural gich.
Yeah, I can't pronounce language to me.
Gwyn Gich. Gugeru.
Okay.
No, the last one is the part of that Silio go go go.
Yeah.
So anywho, that's Welsh.
Anyways, I will send you a talk to at the end of this. We'll get there.
We're getting.
Let's categorize this.
Okay, so this falls into that unsure category.
Yes.
And I counted for that. That falls into the. So this follows in.
It's kind of solid, but
it's kind of
also
solid.
like it's kind of solid. It's kind of solid. It's kind of solid. I mean, because if you put it on your rice and stuff like that, it's kind of solid. Like, it's not like soup where it would just plop onto your thing, but it's kind of solid. Like it's a solid mass like pudding. Yeah. Like pudding. Yeah.
Scots Gaelic in some regions. Oh, it's primary language, but most of the country will learn it. Oh, I see.
Yeah.
If you categorize it as a steak, then you have to eat it that way with a fork and a knife and some A1 sauce. Oh goodness, that sounds awful. Because I can't imagine eating a fruit with steak sauce. Oh. Yeah, but I guess for now, how do you eat it and how do you eat a steak? What do you mean? Robe, you're gonna say well done. You're gonna say well done, and I'm gonna get mad at you. If you
well done.
What do you mean A1 is gross? You eat steak raw? No! I don't believe you.
Rare.
I don't believe you. Why?
I love rare steak.
It's like not even cooked at that point then.
I'm serious, yeah.
It's enjoy the lurk looter.
Anyways.
Tartar, like what kind of tartar?
Yeah, like tartar, like it's literally not cooked. Like tartar. You can eat steak as tartar. I wanted to see if I'll categorize this. This is gonna be silly. There's no way to categorize this. Let's face it, even the Malaysians don't know how to categorize this.
Alright, where did you put this? Well done. Robe, you don't have Robe, you don't have your steak well done, you have it full on congratulations.
I mean, technically you could. You have to eat it with rice, because if you don't eat it with rice, it's just foul as all fucks.
It's vowel. It's me.
Foul.
Where'd you put it? So what is it? What is a pork roast? Or are you trying to say pork roast?
What is a pork roast? Isn't that just a roast?
Yeah, pork roast is just a pig.
Yeah. So yeah, how would you categorize this, Val?
I don't. Where's the info? I don't see it in chat, and I don't see it in. Oh, you're talking about the. Okay, sorry, I didn't realize we were still talking about that. I'd categorize it in the don't worry about it.
Really?
Because yes, because it follows on into that like Jello.
But it's not. But it's gonna be eaten though.
Yes,
so
but
if it's not gonna be, then don't.
It follows. No. So it follows into. There is a mysterious third category that's within the unsure part of non-Newtonian fluids. So non-Newtonian.
How did it say?
So a non-Newtonian fluid is a liquid that it has the qualities of being a liquid, while with having some qualities of being a solid. So pudding or applesauce or ketchup would be considered non-Newtonian liquids. And so this looks like, unless there's chunks of solid chunks, but even then,
there's actually solid chunks.
I categorize this in the same thing of like applesauce.
It's not applesauce.
No. Like, as in, it's neither a solid nor a liquid. It's in between.
60% of Malaysians can't even eat tempoyak, by the way. Neither I'm part of that 60%. I cannot eat tempoyak.
All right, we're moving applesauce to soup. So, hold on. If you guys want to put those in categories, that's fine. It's just, this is, you use this chart, like, to define it for yourself, if that makes sense.
He's talking his ass now.
I am not. I've maintained this position the entire time. You know, it's not gospel, it's not fact, because at that point, it's now up to you guys, the audience. Wait, exclamation point, you guys. The audience. Yes. The chart didn't fail.
It kind of did.
It didn't.
It did.
So what do you think it should be? So what do you think it should be?
I actually see it as a sauce. I actually see it as a sauce.
There's no sauce on the chart.
Exactly, therefore it has failed.
No, because then that'd be a soup then.
It was no a sauce, like a sauce.
A sauce is a liquid.
A sauce is in between the liquid.
So then it now falls into the category of don't worry about it.
It's not. I wouldn't say don't worry about it because you have to worry about it because a lot of people are allergic to it.
No, well, no, that's not how that works. See, chat.
I would have to worry about
Chad says that sauce is a soup.
You definitely have to worry about it.
Yeah.
See,
so if Chad says sauce is a soup, so if you're still categorizing it, it's still, the chart still works.
I would say like it's a very in between of a sauce and a steak, possibly. Yeah, it's very in between.
Tomato sauce is thicker than tomato soup. That's what I said. It goes into the, if you're unsure, it follows into the don't worry about it category.
No, it's not. I'm not unsure. I'm just saying it's between a soup and a steak.
Yes.
There is a middle category.
I'm not putting non-Newtonian fluid as a category in this chart.
Do it. Do it.
I am not doing that.
Non-Newtonian fluid.
Fine. Because if I do that, it will be solid, liquid, or non-Newtonian, and the non-Newtonian will go into don't worry about it.
No. It's non-Newtonian, right? But that's all. Yes.
Yes, that's what non-Newtonian means. It's not going to the tempoyak category.
Why would you worry about it? You know you can choke on non-Newtonian fluids.
You can also choke on water.
Yeah, but you have a higher chance of choking on non-Newtonian fluid. Okay, we have to stop.
Just because I put Play-Doh in my mouth doesn't mean it's any less of a choking hazard than water. And Play-Doh is... Why are we having this conversation? You drink it or do you eat it? Simple enough. That shouldn't matter because you can drink, or you can technically drink and eat a soup.
Okay, can we move on? Oh, I'm stupid dying.
Yes, it doesn't follow Newton's law of viscosity.
Oh my gosh, okay.
So ergo, non-Newtonian fluid is that. Is it... My wife is yelling at you from across the room, please stop. I don't know what to tell you.
What's different?
Not this hell again.
Oh,
You guys said she could take it! That's not on me!
Clearly you don't know how little I can take. Hi, Mazuki.
Get out of here. Look, the chart works because you still categorize it. Is it a solid or a liquid? So it's very.
It's a non-Newtonian fluid.
And that's the wrong picture. It has a category. It's don't worry about it.
It has a category. It's called non-Newtonian.
It's called don't worry about it.
Let's move on. Let's move on.
The chart works. The chart is not breakable. That's still.
Nope, it's breakable.
It's a non-Newtonian fluid. So the thing is, a non-Newtonian fluid does. I'm not talking about this. I'm not talking about this. I'm just
Move on, Val.
I'm currently rubbing the sides of my head right now.
Move on.
Thank you. Just like mashed potatoes. Mashed potatoes are a non-Newtonian fluid.
So you need a new category called a non-Newtonian fluid. Even you agree with me.
Oh. I'm gonna cry.
God, let's just move on.
There's no sauce. I'm just saying.
Let's just move on.
I actually looked up a couple days ago what state of matter are mashed potatoes.
That's why I say non-Newtonian fluid.
So that's it. And the general consensus I found online was mashed potatoes are technically a non-Newtonian fluid. Anyway, enough. Moving on.
I laughed so hard I need to drink water.
Somebody give the fembat his head pats, he needs it. Ugh.
Okay, I'm good.
Alright. So let's
Oh crap.
Thank you for that. Also, for the VOD, I think going forward, I might discontinue. After this charity needs a bucket. So going forward, probably, I think I will discontinue just on the VOD the RRs and the uwus. That way, I don't know. I feel like it kind of disrupts the flow a little bit of the show. I'm still workshopping it. Because some people don't do it on their own channels, you know, and I don't know if that's something that.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
You just cut out hardcore there.
Oh, sorry. I have to do it on my own channel because it will peak non-stop peak.
So. Yeah. But it's one of those things where I'm kind of workshopping it. I don't know. I don't know yet. As to whether or not I want to keep it as a channel redeem during the show. So I'm still figuring it out. Anywho, let's move on to our next topic. And that is... Oh, pardon me. You were a part of an agency. A VTuber agency.
I was.
And how much of this are you allowed to talk about?
Considering that the VTuber agency kind of does not exist anymore and they can't do anything to me, and I did talk about it on stream at one point, I can talk about anything you want me to talk about.
Okay, so let's start from the beginning, I'd say. So, what agency were you a part of?
I was a part of this agency called Vtuber.
And where were they primarily based?
They were primarily based in Germany.
Okay. And what was this agency like? What was it supposed to be?
It was supposed to be, it was basically supposed to be an agency that was being sponsored by quite a big person, and basically it was basically the typical agency. Like, you get all your resources handled out for you, in return that they get a cut of your salary and stuff like that. Yeah.
What led you to want to audition for this agency? Because were you in indie before this, and then you came back?
I was an indie. I still am an indie. I never stopped being an indie. So, prior to this, I was definitely in an indie. This model and everything like that is being owned by me, solely by me. So, this is an indie model. And what led me to want to audition for that is just very simple. I wanted an opportunity to kind of grow bigger, and I felt like I needed this an opportunity, basically.
Yeah. While working for this company, because Well, actually, I think we should kind of jump ahead to the end and then talk about the bits in between, so we know
Okay,
the conclusion and what led to the conclusion.
sure.
What ultimately happened with this?
The agency got closed down mostly just because like, all the talents kind of did leave, and then the agency ended up having to close down, and right now it doesn't exist anymore. There's no ever internet trace that it still exists.
Now, why? Why did it close?
It was kind of mismanagement in terms of that situation. So basically, we had a manager who was basically our artist as well, and that manager kind of, I wouldn't say she's a bad manager. It was just that it took too long. So for me, like, I was a part of that agency since September of last year.
Mhm.
I was preparing to graduate around, it would have been around this time. The funniest thing was that, and had I graduated, I would have graduated into that model and eventually gone on to do stuff in that model. So how this went on was basically I was supposed to debut by March, and I think for me personally, I can't say the truth about the rest of my the rest of the people whom I worked with, but for me personally, it was the case of it took too long. So I have, even with other companies like Nijisanji and so on and so forth, you will get your model, yes, but you will not get your social media or be asked to do anything on your social media until at least a month before debut, because then you can start like doing all these kinds of things to prepare for debut. I was asked to start activities on my social media 6 months before that, and by the end of 6 months, I literally said to the CEO, I said, "So when am I debuting? Can we get a date down so that I can tell people, like, because back then I had quite a big following on that account, and they asked me, and we asked, what do you want to get, like?" And then I asked them, like, when am I debuting? And then they said, when I'm ready. And the irony is that I did sign a contract. I can tell you that I did sign a contract which was for 1 year, and by that point in time, it would have been 6 months already. I would have had another 6 months. I didn't want to debut and then like stream for 3 months and then have to decide on whether I want to leave or I want to stay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Pardon me.
Mm.
What were your initial thoughts when you realized that sudden graduation termination was imminent?
I felt annoyed, frankly speaking, because I did put a lot of work, I did put a lot of effort into that account, and I did wish that I would have kept a lot of my followers, and a lot of the work that I put in, because put in so much work for that, and I really hate that I didn't manage to, like, for a lot of my followers as well, I didn't manage to bring them over because I felt so bad. I've always been the type of person that's like, I'm very into my community. Like, I want to do the best for my community, and I often aim to be the best that I can do for my community. So
Mhm.
when the whole thing shut down for me, I was just like, this didn't make any sense. You're making me fail. It's basically, for me, like, it was like I'm a failure to my community because of that.
Mm. And all the seeing all that work turn to just nothing. I can only imagine how crushing that has to be. I mean, spending all that time accumulating all that influence. Because if I remember, you had celebrated at the time, getting over 1,000 followers on Twitter.
Twitter.
That
Yeah.
you had achieved not through the follow for follow, but just through just hard work and an online presence.
Yes. Unfortunately, with my Twitter, I have not been able to replicate that success. I don't even know why, but I have not been able to replicate that success. But I felt like it was annoyed because I literally, my style was just having to come in every single morning, every single nighttime. I had to come in 3 times a day just to have an online presence on my Twitter, and it was frustrating to not see that, like, come to any fruition personally for me. it after I left, I think the first thing that I did was that I was like, well, if anybody wants to reach out to me, I'm still streaming on my other account. Please feel free to come over, feel free to come and join, because I really felt like I failed my community.
Hmm. It's nice to see that there are those who followed you following the your departure from VT Glow, because I want to say I remember our first conversation we had
Mm.
where when we were talking, I was hanging out in the Discord server, and when when we were like, you had hopped in, you had, you know, a text chat, and we were talking back and forth, and it was like, hey, let me talk to my manager, see if I can, because I'm not supposed to, you know, since I haven't really officially debuted yet, I wasn't, you know, I can't use my voice, and you're like, let me talk to my manager. And so you did that, and when we finally actually spoke, and, you know, sounded complete, like, when I say complete different, you know, it was definitely a more agency persona. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then actually seeing about what it turned into, it was definitely, I could see the signs of mismanagement happening in a very restrictive fashion, but also a miscommunicative way, if you know what I mean.
Okay, to be honest, the whole concept of management is fair, because to be honest, a lot of managers don't actually allow their talents to actually go in just randomly, willy-nilly, just go into like a voice call, especially when they're not debuted. Yeah, I think that was fine. I think the part where the mismanagement actually happened was around the point, like the communication that happened, because my manager happened to be my artist, so there shouldn't have been a miscommunication with like when I was supposed to debut, when my art was done, because she showed me my art, and actually I thought the art was amazing. I thought the art had so much potential.
Yeah.
The key process of it was that upon the time when rigging was supposed to happen, apparently they didn't exactly give me a date for when the rigging would finish, but they said initially, I think it was supposed to be by the end of December, and then when I asked what at the end of December, hey, is the rigging done, they said, oh, we'll need till the end of January. And I said, okay, well, we'll head over to the end of January. And at the end of January, that was around the time where I said, well, when is it gonna be done? How much have you rigged? You gotta tell me so I can manage expectations, because I'm that kind of person. And she, at the time, she actually, my manager actually said to me, it'll be done when I feel like letting it be done. And that's the part that broke me for reals.
What it sounds like is you're putting in all this work, and all you wanted was just simple communication of, hey, when can I actually get this off the ground? I mean, am I just doing this and getting free publicity? Like, you know, getting you guys publicity for nothing? Like, what's going on here? Because it feels like that your community was being constantly teased about, you know, it's happening. Okay, when's it happening? What's you know, when's it gonna finally finish and come to fruition? And so I can only imagine just that constant push toward the edge is what, you know, finally made you realize this just isn't worth it. It's just not worth it.
Yeah, and well, those of you guys who came from my community, you guys know that I am a very like straightforward person when it comes down to doing the work. So like when I last year and around this time in March, when I said we're gonna debut a VTuber avatar in November on my first year anniversary, that's exactly what we did. I never specifically stated when, but it was in November that we debuted. And then when I said stuff like, hey, we're gonna have this and this done this year, I never stop. I literally say, we will get it done. We will get it done if it kills me. Because that's just my style. Like, that's just the way that I work. I feel like as a streamer and as a person that is an influencer, you have a responsibility towards your community, and you have a responsibility to give your community the things that you promise them. So when I promise my community something, I deliver.
Well, just looks, yeah, it looks bad on your image when you can't deliver on promises. I mean, that's why it feels like a gut punch when all out of the blue you have to tell your community, hey, I can't stream tonight. You know, something came up, something happened. And more often than not, people are very understanding. But I imagine when it happens to a degree where it just keeps getting pushed and pushed and pushed, at a certain point, that's when trust is sort of getting lost.
My community knows that I never do this. I probably take one break. I probably cancel one stream every 2 to 3 months if I can help it. It almost never happens.
Yeah, I mean, that's very admirable, you know. And for some people, that's how that works. And some people can do that, and like others, like myself, like since I'm in school, sometimes I'm like, hey guys, this stream's canceled. I gotta work I gotta do a different thing tonight, because you know that pays my bills. But more often than not, it's you know, being transparent with who your audience is, and if the talent is being transparent with the audience, why can't the company be transparent with the talent? You know?
That's exactly correct. That's exactly correct. So that's kind of the straw that kind of broke my back. I just felt like it wasn't worth it anymore.
And you know, when you actually started to lead the decision to leave VT Glow, how did this, you know, what were some of the biggest concerns and fears that you had trying to leave? Because I imagine with the company, I don't know if you signed a contract or whatnot, but just trying to leave, there's probably a lot of, you know, either legal or just what is the word I'm looking for? Clerical things involved that need to be done.
Honestly, afraid I did too. Yeah, I was honestly afraid I did too. Because from what I was told, the company had a lot of money. Like they had apparently, I didn't know how much money they had, but they had a lot of money. So I was scared that if I wanted to leave, they would be here. And also, like my personal thought process is just kind of that feeling of I'm throwing every single thing I have out the toilet if I choose to leave now. That kind of feeling like I will never be able to get this again. And I feel like a lot of streamers have this when they're actually in an agency that just never worked out. They have this fear of like, oh, what if my community chooses not to follow me? What if I cannot replicate the success? And I'm still having that fear now, actually.
Do you think people like Selentowski also kind of went through stuff like that? Because that's a pretty big, like that event really changed the VTuber world as a whole. You know, the Dokibird situation.
I actually think that it's not just Solan that went through it. I think that even like Kuro and of course Matara.
Oh yeah.
Every VTuber that kind of thinks they all go through it, and even me, for me, like especially like when like if you want to do a bit of like, yes, healthier is healthier. I'm actually way more happier not being in an agency right as of this moment. I don't know whether that will change in the future. I'm not sure yet, but personally, everyone goes through that fear. And at the end of the day, when we just kind of have to acknowledge that it's more healthy for us to not to go indie as opposed to, or try and join a different agency as opposed to trying to join something that doesn't work out for us, like that just mentally kills us.
It's a looming fear and almost a threat that comes over you, because at a certain point you're thinking, are people going to support me or they're supporting the company? You know, it's essentially my word against theirs at that point.
Honestly, at this point in time, I'm still not sure whether actually people said, like, I've had a few people come up to me after that, and then they told me, hey, we support you, we're here for you. Yeah, we knew that this agency was down to go down the drain, but there was also always this deep fear where I didn't know, like, quite a number of followers unfortunately did not follow me, and that is something that I'm probably gonna have to live with for like the rest of my life.
Were they active followers that you knew? Or were they followers?
Yes, actually.
Oh.
And it was kind of sad. I don't deny that it was kind of sad, because I kind of wish that they could have come back to me, but it's all right. I feel like things happen for a reason, and I don't question these sorts of things. I feel like eventually it'll happen. It'll happen. I will get them back, and I'll bounce back. You know, I'm not too worried.
Well, clearly you're a very work-driven individual, so I have no doubt that you'll bounce back for that. Now.
Yeah.
What steps did you try and take to make sure that you were going to be transitioning from that indie life or that agency life back to the indie life? Because again, like with the Dokibird situation, she had her Dokibird model before she left that to become Selentowski, and now she came back to that same model. You know, so what is that transition?
Yeah. well, for me, I had this model before I was gonna transition. So for me, it was not as straightforward. I feel like it was not as terrible for that transition because I never fully transitioned into the other model.
Mhm.
So even as the situation went down, I was still streaming on this account. I was still consistently going at it on this account, and I never really stopped going at it on this account. So it was just a case of, well, I gotta explain to those people that have to that want answers. I just gotta, and I did kind of do an hour-long stream where I explained things that happened and things that per se would have happened. And it wasn't as terrible of a transition because I didn't abandon this model. So I came back to this, but the only difference was that my kind of like intention shifted. So it went from like, oh yeah, I gotta do this because so truth to be told, and if I'm gonna be very frank here, I don't deny that, okay, my agency was terrible, but I don't deny that I didn't learn anything from it. Like, what I did learn from it was literally how to grow further on Twitter, how to grow further, how I can further add onto my platforms, and how to, like, I took the experiences from that and added into my own account so that my personal account now is that much stronger.
Yeah. When you're thankfully you have this to fall back with and go back to. What it sounds like to me is it felt like you were in a never like a very long test drive of a car where you were there, you were controlling it, but ultimately it wasn't your car and you had to return it, and you never got to fully take it and see what it could do.
Yeah. It's kind of sad, but at the same time, it's all right. Like, it's kind of one of those situations where you kind of learn like, oh yeah, this is probably the car that I don't want to drive.
You saw that that Lamborghini is pretty expensive and pretty big and flashy, but I don't know, I kind of like this nice little Toyota here.
Yeah. You know, I kind of came into that.
And don't worry, I'm not definitely not comparing, you know, your models to a Lamborghini and a Toyota respectively. You know, it's more just in the mark of just because one has a very like a much bigger thing does not mean that it makes it better than anything else. You know?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Now, because mismanagement can affect and have a significant impact on not only you as a person, but also on like the entire creative process that one may have in general, because it feels like a hindrance. It feels so hard. How does this mismanagement affect, you know, your ability to work as a VTuber and being, yeah, we'll start there. How has it affected you being as a VTuber since then?
Since then, to be honest, it's given me a lot more great. Like, I'm a lot more grateful that I'm an indie, because as much as I would love to have management, I feel like a management that doesn't align with my principles and my way of doing things, it's not a manager that I currently want to have. So if in the future I go looking for a manager again for, let's say, this model or some other model, I definitely want to make sure that the manager and I align in terms of what we want to achieve with the resources that we currently have. And in terms of answering your question as to how mismanagement can really affect a VTuber, well, we see what happens in VT Globe. We saw what happened with Selen. Mismanagement could cause really hell on earth for the talent, because you have to understand that we as talents, we don't like we want to listen to the manager because, you know, we feel like the manager has all the tools that will teach us for success. But at the same time, sometimes when our manager tells us something like, oh, you can't post this because it doesn't look good. Like, for me, there were some things that I wanted to do, like the Teach Kiara series that I'm currently running on my channel right now, was initially an idea that was actually proposed to Glow, and it was kind of turned down. Not fully. They said that I could do it after 6 months because they said they felt like I wasn't big enough yet. But that was the whole point of it. Like, and then when I left, I used that, and I used it, and then apparently a lot of people enjoy it. Like, the Teach Kiara series is actually quite enjoyable for a lot of people because they see they see it as a way like, oh yeah, I'm learning alongside the streamer, and the streamer is just making it fun for me to learn it as well.
Yeah, and it seems, even though that from this terrible thing, it hasn't stifled your ability to be creative, and instead it just propels you to work even harder. Because now since you're not shackled by just the looming threat of people just checking on you, you know, it's just,
Yeah.
it allows you to be more open and figure things out. Now, have you seen the recent announcement about Akio Air?
Please tell me.
Announcement of closure. This notice is intended to inform you that Akio Air will cease its operations as a VTuber agency effective immediately.
Akio Air is closing?
Yep, Akio Air is closing.
What?
Yeah.
I did not know this. I did not know this.
I mean,
Sorry, I'm reading this now.
considering their recent events, because they were kind of the precursor to with, you know, because their all their drama happened a little, you know, before Niji Sanji's happening back in the tail end of last year.
Yeah.
And the reason why I'm bringing this up is I want you, again, considering you've been through a agency that's closed, what are your thoughts on something like this?
Thought it was kind of odd. Like, it was kind of seen.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of predictable, because no, I didn't know about the drama that happened with Akio Air last year,
Mm-hmm.
and I actually really thought that was kind of funny, because with the amount of stuff that Akio Air put through its talents, a lot of it shouldn't have happened. Let's face it.
Mhm.
I foresee that, like, unfortunately, like, okay, to be honest with you, I'm sorry. I'm firmly on the team that a minor should probably never be on a VTuber agency, just because there's so much that comes into that. Like, what happens if that minor wants to say, like, do ASMR content? If you're an indie, it's easier to hide, because then people don't know, like, oh yeah, you can do it, and then you could pretend to be like 18, 19, and nobody's gonna question it. But to be honest with you, and I will tell you this from my experience as well, VTGlow actually had a character like this. She got fired.
Oh no.
But VTGlow actually did have a character like this that no one liked, because of just the fact that she insisted on acting younger than she was. Like, she pretended to be like this older person when she herself was pretty young.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm often a firm believer that, you know, an agency is great if you can handle the pressure that comes into an agency, because it's a lot of work, and there's no guarantee that even a place like Akio Air, like even a place like Niji Sanji, there's no guarantee that you will make money off of it enough that you can survive. Like, I think I don't know where I have the video. If I find it, I will send it to you. But I recently saw a video that in, you know, TTT, the recent group of Niji Sanji.
No.
Oh, so they debuted a new group of 3 people, and that new group is called TTT, and that group specifically, they, between them, they have before YouTube takes their cut, they've only made 10K between them. After 3 months of streaming. After 3 months of streaming, not considering YouTube cuts, they've only made about 10K between them.
Really?
And for 3 people, 10K, that's not a lot, frankly speaking,
well,
considering the numbers that we know past Niji Sanji members have been known to bring in.
Well, for a company specifically.
Yeah.
That's wild.
It's wild. It's insane. And unfortunately, a lot of agencies, yes, management is great, everything is great, you get the lead that you need, but truth to be very told, and I don't say this about all agencies, I just say this about the ones that we're addressing today, Akio Air and Niji Sanji. Sometimes just cause you want the clout doesn't mean you should sign the contract. I'm just saying that.
Oh, I think it's a very important thing, because people end up getting so into the idea of having more of accessibility and more opportunity that they tend to forget what is associated and what happens with it. Because it's like when you're young and you get a credit card for the first time and you're like, I have money. It's like, well, that's not free money. There are things you have to know that you're signing up to get into. You know, there's interest rates, there's payments that you need to do. It'll affect your credit history. You know, and there's so many things you have to kind of think about. And I feel like the same thing can apply to auditioning for an agency as well. If you happen to get in 10K in 3 months by 3 people, is roughly $40 a day each. Ooh.
It's not great. It's really not great, considering that if you go into a full-time job, they will pay more than that.
That's rough.
It's really rough. And truth to be told, I feel like a lot of people need to have expectations on VTuber agencies in general. VTubing is not huge. There's never a guarantee, even going to any VTuber agency, that you can earn the money necessary to survive, which is why a lot of VTubers kind of go in and then realize that, hey, I can't make the money I need to survive. I guess I'm out of there now. It's not, there's no current strategy that comes into play when you need to make the money you need to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
And that, unfortunately, with the YouTube, the Twitch, and every so on and so forth and algorithms, there's no guarantee. Yeah. And I feel like a lot of people do need to understand that before they sign a contract. I understand. It's a great contract. You get the opportunity of a lifetime. Yes, it's amazing. But read the contract. I feel like even for me in BG Glow, I didn't fully read the contract. I just thought of, hey, you know what? It's a good opportunity. Let me just sign the contract.
It sucks when people are not informed of the commitments and things beforehand, and they're just like, here's all the shiny new stuff. Oh, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's great. I mean, like, you know the Niji-Sanji contract recently came out, right?
Yeah.
And I saw that. I will be okay. I run a different podcast, but I'm not allowed to be. I'm forced to be impartial on that podcast. But actually, my personal opinion here is just the fact that contract is whacked.
Mm-hmm.
That contract is whacked.
Yeah, well, you can give your opinion here. You can give your opinion here on that.
Yeah, that contract is so whacked.
That sound was horrifying.
Oh my gosh.
The sound alerts just it sounded demonic.
Magpie. But yeah, honestly, if I'm gonna be very frankly honest here, that contract is whacked. Like, I understand. To be honest, given the chance, I would have probably signed that contract at any given chance to get clout, to get a chance to grow bigger. But the more you read into that contract, the less it makes any sense whatsoever, frankly speaking, just because you're basically selling your soul.
Ugh. It's whack. Well, let's end on this last thing, and then we'll transition to our last 10 questions. And that's this. Recently, Idlecore announced the graduation of one of their talents, Pochi Wanmaru. And this is what the letter says. It says, "Dear fans, with respect and consideration for her wishes, Pochi from Idol EN First Generation will be graduating from Idol effective March 23rd, 2024. This decision comes directly from Pochi, and we support her in taking the next steps on her journey. Pochi will not be performing a graduation stream at her request. Additionally, we want to inform you about refunds for the second Donathon event. Following discussions and considering Pochi's mental health concerns, she is unable to fulfill the goals as associated with this event. Therefore, we've decided to issue refunds to all fans who request one by April 10th. For those that don't request an event by this deadline, or refund by this deadline, the contributions will go to Pochi as initially intended. We will be providing information on how to request a refund through our Discord server. We recognize that recent misunderstandings and allegations concerning payments have arisen, and we want to clarify that there have been no changes to our policy, and we have constantly paid all talents promptly, including earnings from Donathons. We address these misunderstandings directly with Pochi and reach a mutual agreement. We apologize for any confusion this situation may have caused. We acknowledge the specific concerns regarding Donathon payments and can confirm that after a thorough review of Pochi, any misunderstandings have been resolved." Actually, I need to read this last part as false ID. Pochi has been a valued member of our Idol English branch since its foundation. We recognize her contributions and wish success in her future endeavors. Thank you for your continued support and understanding, Idol team. Sorry, I had to do that little false ID at the very end there. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is a lot of people have noted this is the right way to do a graduation. Because clearly they're like, look, things aren't working out. She wants to leave. There we go. We'll support you. And it's just, it's kind of interesting. You see that dichotomy of, big agencies, of the big ones, Hololive, Niji, Idol, VShojo, and VShojo is more of a talent management group, but even then, or not VShojo, Phase Connect, sorry, Idol and Phase Connect. You see that, and you of that, you see the termination of Selentotsuki versus the termination of this talent, and you see how drastically different it is. You know, because clearly there's support going on here. You know,
I will often say that Idol is actually a really good example of how to manage drama, because let's face it, and I'm gonna say this in the most honest to goodness facts, no talent wants to graduate drama. Nobody wants to graduate drama. Solen did not want to graduate drama. Everybody just wants, even if it's termination, people just want to go peacefully. Because nobody wants to be known as that VTuber who caused so much drama that they got terminated. So in this case, even for me in VTGlow, like, I wish that circumstances had been better, because to be honest, I wanted to graduate amicably. I really wanted to graduate amicably. I really wanted to leave amicably, but the truth is that, and this is something that nobody knows about, and I'm telling you right now. One of the biggest straws that broke my back was because they actually, VTGlow actually went behind my back. My manager actually went behind my back to another talent, started gossiping about me to that talent, and that talent came back to me and told me all about it. And that kind of ruins any chance of graduating amicably, because had I heard that and had I wanted to leave, I wanted to leave amicably, and I just wanted to leave without drama, just so I could continue on in my life. Whatever that's been done, it's been done. But they made that completely impossible, because like Niji and my manager went behind my back, gossiped to other talents behind my back, and that created a situation where graduating amicably was no longer a possibility.
Yeah. Do you have any final thoughts or advice to give for people about wanting to join an agency, or maybe those who might be trying to look to get out of a group?
Okay, two things. The first one is that if you want to join an agency, it's really not a bad situation. Truly, it's not a bad situation. What I would encourage you is just to do research on the agency first. So, a new agency usually will not have that, but a few red flags to kind of watch out for. Make sure that you know, like, the agency knows where they're going, so they have a plan for the future. They have a good plan for the future. They say like, maybe next year I want to debut you in a 3D model, blah 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 blah. And so you gotta have this concept of knowing what's a red flag. So that's a really bad red flag. Another one is, let's say that any management wants to become talent. That's already a big red flag. And the third thing is, of course, if the management is not giving you everything that you need, because a management should always be you first, everyone else second. Like, their first concept should always be the generation that they're managing, not themselves. And my manager was very self-centric in that sense. So it's really not a bad thing. You just gotta look for the green flags. You look for the ones that, like VShojo is a very good example of a green flag. Your management is there to help you. They're not there to hinder you. They're not there to tell you, no, you can't do this, no, you can't do that, no. They're there to say, okay, well, you can do this, but give me a bit of time. I will find time to do something for you. And that's the biggest issue. And as for those who are trying to get on an agency, read your contracts. Read your contracts, because sometimes there are loopholes that you can run around. Like you can play around with the loopholes and kind of graduate amicably. Try your best to graduate amicably. Try your best to graduate amicably, because if you're not able to graduate amicably, then yeah, I mean, not everyone can get a lawyer to read a contract, but at least know the circumstances of your contract and bring up to your manager anything that doesn't seem right to you, or like bring it up to a couple of like friends who might know the industry well enough. Like just tell them like, hey, I have this contract, can you take a look at it, can you tell me if it's reasonable or not? So know your contracts, read your contract, know that there's a loophole. If you can, graduate amicably. Understand that it's always just good to not have to do a tell-all. I would just say this. Yeah. So good luck though. But I would say don't just say agencies are bad just because they're bad, just because we've all had one or two bad experiences. We've all had that one or two bad experiences with a company. Let's face it. We as working adults, we've all had that one or two bad experiences with a company. That shouldn't stop you from wanting to try a different company. It's just find the right one for you. Yeah.
Very well put. Well, why don't we get into our last 10 questions and then call it a successful stream? So, these are 10 questions that were created by famous writer, actor, director James Lipton that he would often ask to his guests on his show Inside the Actor's Studio at the very end of every episode. So these are questions that have no right or wrong answers, and they are just for you to answer, and we can kind of just get a little more insight into who you are as a person. So, are you ready?
Sure. Yeah, let's go.
What is your favorite word?
The French word for seal. Fuck.
That's a word. That's a word.
That's a word. Go search it up. Search it up.
I believe you.
The French word for seal.
And we encourage anybody who is in our chat who has not seen this to play along with us as well. What is your least favorite word?
I don't have a least favorite word. I have a least favorite statement, which is basically two words. I hate the words skill issue.
Skill issue?
Skill issue. Just because I've been teased so many times on my chat and everyone around me just telling me, hey, it's a skill issue.
To be fair, I hate the phrase get good.
Yeah.
It's just skill issue is just get good, but you know, for Zoomers.
Yeah.
What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
My community. Because they are the ones that I'm creating content for. I can't imagine a world where I don't have my community and they're not the ones supporting me. And every single time I look at the community and how they've been so supportive and so amazing towards me, I just get so much creativity in me. I just want to do every single thing, and I want to do every single thing for them.
Heck yeah. Communities are awesome, especially when they're really supportive.
Yes.
What turns you off?
What turns me off?
Yes.
Toxic people. Just as a general factor, toxic people. If you guys ever feel like coming onto my chat, please do not be toxic.
Instant ban. Sent to jail.
I mean, I wouldn't be instant ban, but just the community is meant to be open, okay? Just don't be toxic, okay?
Yeah, just be good people.
Just be good people.
What's your favorite curse word?
I would say, well, we already established on the word that my favorite word is fuck. It's fuck.
Time to add that to the tally board. Because at this point, every time I ask why is that, people always say, because you can use it every which way, so many different ways to use it. I'm like, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, it's true.
Use it as
it's also very true.
It is, and so I'll have a little more interest in that when somebody gives me a different answer than you can use it so many ways. Maybe it was.
I think it's just more like it's just a go-to word.
It is a go-to word. What sound or noise do you love?
The sound of a 5-star being pulled in Genshin or Star Rail.
I don't know what that sounds like, but that does sound like it sounds like fun.
Yes.
Because at least in Yu-Gi-Oh, when you pull an ultra rare card, it's a good feeling. Because then the game is not as rigged in that moment.
Yeah.
What sound or noise do you hate?
My alarm clock.
Do you just not like waking up?
I hate waking up. I love waking up on my own time. I hate waking up when an alarm clock rings.
I hate waking up before my alarm clock goes off. and I've been doing that
I
a
hate
lot
waking
recently.
up when it goes off, before it goes off. I just the alarm in general.
I feel that. What profession other than your
Fuck is a noun, verb, and adjective. I agree with that, Carrion.
Yes, it is. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
I would love to attempt interior design. I don't know why. I just interior design, I guess.
I like interior designers. They're pretty pog.
Yeah.
Well, not to mention, I don't think I have a knack for interior design, so I could always use one.
Fair enough.
What profession would you not like to do?
I hate to be a doctor. I cannot. I can tolerate blood fine. I can't tolerate bone.
Oof. Have you ever broken a bone?
I have broken a bone. I just told the doctor, look at it. Don't make me look at it.
What was it?
I think I broke my. I did break my ankle at one point.
Same. Breaking your ankle is one of the most common breaks in the body.
Yep.
So I thought you said material designer, and I was very confused. You want to try it? It's like so difficult. To be honest, it feels kind of nice when it's healing. So when I broke my bone, when I broke my ankle, that was when I was like really young, so I really don't remember it at all. All right, so this is the last question. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
You know what? You try, just go into heaven.
You try, just go, just get in there.
Just get in there. You know what? We're not gonna talk about the bad shit or the good shit that you did. Just, you tried your best, okay? You tried your best. Just get in there, okay? Just go.
How? That'd be kind of terrifying. You hear God say, "Wait a minute, who are you?"
Okay, Val. Val, I just have a thing for you, and I can join in for me as well. Remember how I said before at the end I had a tongue twister for you?
Yeah.
I have a tongue twister for you.
Okay.
I'm just gonna send this into chat.
Okay.
Hold on, let me copy the thing. Let me copy the thing. Okay. Now this is in Cantonese. Okay, I'm gonna say it once, but this looks weird. Trust me.
Let's
Trust me, chat. So the definition of this in English is that man over there is taller than this guy over here. And the Cantonese thing of this is Look at it. Giving up. I don't understand my life face.
That just sounds like Welsh.
Cantonese, my friend.
Oh yeah, it's Cantonese. It just that the way that guttural sound in the back of your throat. That again, that sounds like that Welsh noise.
Yeah, it's that's so. The thing about Mandarin and just that tree in general is just that there is an intonation.
It's
so if you use a higher or lower intonation, it could mean a whole ass different thing.
I had a
Chat, feel free to try that.
Cantonese isn't as bad with throat noise as some other dialects. Oof.
No, it's really not.
Me with my bobo, heck yeah. It just reminds me of me and my French, where my French it's a very guttural language, in a lot of the words where is where a lot of the phrasing needs to come from.
Oh, I know. I recently learned French. Yes, that was a pain.
So, when I had to speak French, I had to speak French a lot for almost 2 years of my life. And when you speak it with the young people, they're fine. When you speak it with the old people, it's not fine. When you speak, and I've talked about this before, I had to learn French and I had to learn Tahitian. And you can only learn Tahitian if you know French. But you have to be very well versed in French in order to learn Tahitian, because all the Tahitian language books are in French.
Okay.
So yeah, it's
okay.
Basically, it was a nightmare, and I still have a lot of those books, but they're back home in a storage unit, which I'll be going to get next month. So
okay, but before we end stream, can we ask Val to try this?
I don't know if I want. Quebec, Is that what?
Because I would like Val to just try this Cantonese tongue twister.
See. Go. So if it has to do with high and low rate, how would I know?
Okay, I'll say it for you once, and then you're gonna say it together. Okay? Okay. Go go.
Go go.
Go go.
Go go.
Gao guo.
Gao go.
Go go.
Go go.
Go go.
Go go.
Yes.
So
you're just gonna have to combine that.
So. Go. Shoot! Already I'm off to a bad start. Go go. Go go. Gao guo. No guo. Go.
Okay,
go,
okay.
Go.
Oh.
That's. Oh. That's.
That was really close. That was really close.
Thanks.
That was actually really close.
That back. That like. It's that tongue against the back of the throat kind of like phonetic sound that it
yes,
saying that consecutively is interesting.
Yes.
It's a Quebec dialect of French, or someone who lives in Quebec. Yeah.
All right. Thank you for trying that. Thank you for humoring me today, Val.
Oh, no problem. Well, it's time for me to ask my last and, in my opinion, second most important question. That is, Kiara, who would you like us to raid that we have not raided before on this show? And while you answer that, you can put that raid there, that username in the chat. I'll talk to chat real quick. So yeah, thank you guys so much for joining me on this wonderful episode of the VOD. It's been super fun. I encourage you guys to follow me on Twitter. I have my Twitter handle up there. Follow me on YouTube. Thank you. If you have the...
Is everything okay?
I'm getting thrown things. If you have the ability, nobody has to. If you have the ability, support me on Throne so I can have better equipment to make more and much better content. I'm going to be streaming for quite a while, so I want to make the most of what I can do. Not only that, consider joining the Discord server if you're not a part of the Discord server. And if you're not following, consider dropping a follow, because we do this every Friday night and Saturday afternoon, with sometimes on Sunday because schedules are a bit finicky. But with that in mind, Kiara, who shall we raid?
I have a friend called Estelle, and we're just gonna raid her. I'm just gonna send this. Yeah. So this will be who we're raiding.
I didn't hear any of that because people throw things.
This is who we're gonna raid. Her name is Estelle. She's a friend, and she's basically a fellow VTuber, and she's been quite supportive of me since quite the beginning. So yeah.
All right, well, let's get that going. Let's see. All right, it just none of that wanted to type.
Yeah. So she's currently having a 12-hour stream. So yeah.
Heck yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us, guys. This has been a wonderful time. Please join me tomorrow as... Well, actually, no, I probably won't be streaming a whole lot this next week other than the VOD. So in case you don't see me these next few days, please join me for the next episode of the VOD on Friday night at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. My name is Val. This is Kiara. And that is our show. Have a wonderful night and good night.